I remember I'd go to Century Club in LA, and all these guys would be there, all of them, okay? So you would see her like, these guys are training, you know, and partying hardcore is what they were doing. But nobody heard anything about you. You were quiet on your own island doing your thing. You were just coming and winning.
I didn't want anyone to hear anything about me. I didn't want anyone to know too much about me.
Is that part of your personality?
It's part of my personality. I like my privacy, and it worked psychologically as well because of becoming an enigma that they couldn't get a handle on me. I mean, they don't see me. They see each other in the gym every day. So you see this guy doesn't look so good, and you know, blah 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 blah. So everyone got a handle on each other, but Dorian, no, because I was out of the, I was out of the picture. They didn't know nothing. Just like this, creating this monster in their mind that's just in this basement and is throwing weights around and is, creating this mystique where they accepted they couldn't beat me.
So if we put the leaders bulletin on who won the most in the 90s, it's you, okay? You got 6, okay? But if we put the leaders bulletin on who had most fun, where would you be ranked? Would you be ranked at the bottom?
Probably.
Probably at the bottom.
Probably, yeah. But there's a trade-off, man. There's a trade-off. Like, I just put absolute dedication into this, and fun was like something I can do later. I'm doing this right now, and having too much fun might interfere. And I think that's kind of why, one of the reasons that I stayed where I was in England. Although there was, some pressure for me to move to California. I was working for the Weeder company, for the magazines, Joe Weeder. They would like me to be out there so they'd have more access to me and, do more photos, do more stuff. And then, like you say, you're in LA, it's full of hot chicks, full of parties, nice weather. I was scared to relax, man, because if I relaxed a little bit and enjoyed it, maybe I'd just lose it, So I want to stay isolated, stay in UK, stay in Birmingham, where my gym was, and just keep my head down and go to the gym and train and come home and eat and sleep, and just that whole routine, which is like a training camp, which people might do for 2 or 3 months before a contest. I took that approach year round.
Come on now, let's get nasty. Yes, again. Bring it up. Come on, still one more in there. Bring it up. Hold it there now, negative. One more like that. Hold it there. Yes. That's better one again. Come on.
So I lost my father when I was quite young, and then we moved to Birmingham just with my mom, and she married a new guy, and he also died quite quickly, so it was pretty tragic time. And then my mom decided to leave Birmingham when I was 16, and I decided to stay. I didn't have anywhere to stay. I was just staying at friends' houses and stuff like that. And being a teenager with my mates, we got into a bit of trouble. And at 18 years old, I was sent to a detention center for a few months. And when I was in this detention center, part of the process is hard physical exercise, which a lot of the kids didn't like. But I loved it, and it was something for me to outlet being in this place, to kind of escape for a while. And I was good at it. I was good at the circuit training. I was beating everybody on that. There was a couple of lads that were probably bigger and heavier than me, but I was as strong as them, and I already had what you could term as a physique-looking body. So the foundation of a good physique was there. And even the prison officers noticed that. And they encouraged me when you get out of here, go and do powerlifting, because you could be a good powerlifter. But I already knew that I wasn't interested in powerlifting, I was interested in bodybuilding, because I've already seen the magazines from Joe Weeder, and I was familiar with some of the bodybuilders, so I was like, that's the route I want to go. So as an individual, I think I was already much more determined and tunnel vision than the average person. And then I had all this adversity around me and no real future. I had no family around me, no qualifications from school, nobody, there to advise or help. So my prospects were not that great, and I saw bodybuilding as a way to improve those prospects, if you like. My father died when I was young. Nobody really seemed to help me with that. So I guess I was pissed off about that. And then my mom left, and I was left in Birmingham on my own. Maybe I was pissed off about that. And just being a teenager, you're pissed off anyway. So, I had this that I could call on. Anger and determination to show everybody. That was a lot of it. I'll fucking show you. Yeah, I'll use that energy. I'm going to show you what I can do. So that, I always, until I was Mr. Olympia, and it's something I struggled with a little bit initially, I always had this underdog thing. I'm the underdog and nobody thinks I can do it, so I'm going to fucking show you, I'm going to do it. So I use it I call it fuck you energy, I use some fuck you energy in the workout. So there's a combination of anger and determination and wanting to show the world that, I'm worth something, I guess. Yeah. And where exactly that was leading, when I started, I didn't know. But I knew I'm doing this and I'm going to give it 100% and something's going to be good from it. And maybe, I'd really like to be British champion one day. Right. I think that's probably as far as I was thinking at that point, anyway.
Let's see it! No mercy, man! No prisoners! Listen to form again! Everyone with it now! Tight bastard, let's see it. Ooh, let's go now! Ooh, that's it! Ooh, right. Ooh, one! Ooh, again!
When I came from the detention centre, and I didn't have anywhere to stay, the city housed me, council, as we say in England. So they gave me a council flat on a very notorious council estate in Birmingham at the time called Castle Vale. And they offered me this place because not many people accept it and go there. But for me, it was fine. So yeah, that's where I was living for probably 5 years when I was started training.
Right.
So I was still living there. I remember getting to the point where I was British champion. I was British champion. I won the British Championship at Wembley. But I still came home to Castle Vale, to this council flat that had no carpet. I didn't have a proper bed, I had a mattress and an old TV. And I came back with my trophy and I put it on the top of this old TV. And I'm thinking, great, I'm British champion, but there's no newspapers outside, there's no TV, I haven't got a car, I got no money, but I wasn't thinking this in a bad way. All my friends had cars and more material things, but I was happy because I had this goal that was all consuming and I was pursuing it and doing well at it. And I kind of knew that things were going to come, but at that point, British champion, but still broke. But already mentally much stronger than everyone around me, I believe. I stood out and was more focused and determined. So I didn't start bodybuilding from the point of view of I feel insecure. Right. I did it as a pursuit, as a sport, and as a way to improve my life. And I almost viewed the physique, the body that I was building, as not being me. It was almost like a project, a sculpture, something that was separate from me. And it needs to be like this, and it needs to be as massive as possible, as ripped as possible, and balanced. And that's the criteria, and that's what I need to present.
And with that, I know you read a lot about it in business and setting goals and anything that you want in life. You've obviously gone up to be the best in the world at a sport, which very few people ever get in their life, at being the best at something in the world. What would be your advice then if somebody does want to achieve any kind of goal? Like how far should you look? Because they say set big, audacious goals and that. You obviously, your big goal would have been to be Mr. Olympia. Yeah. What sort of, how did you go through that in your mind? And as you got into it, did you set bigger and bigger goals, or what? Tell us.
I always worked on like a yearly basis.
Right.
So this is my year.
Okay.
And then I break the year down into months, so little segments throughout the year. But what I'd like to say about whether this is a sport, or it's a business, or it's a relationship, or whatever it is in your life, in your human experience, what you're going to receive back is what you focus on. So if all your focus is going into your business, it will be successful. If all your focus is going into picking up hot women in bars, eventually it will be successful. Because it's all you're thinking about, it's all you're projecting out there, yeah? It will come back to you eventually. So you've got to be very careful what you're thinking about and what your thoughts are.
Yeah.
And most people are not even aware of what their thoughts are. They're just running around in their head and they've got no control over them. I mean, all day I was visualizing. It's all I was thinking about, literally all day. I remember having dreams. I'd be dreaming about my leg workout the night before I did my leg workout. So I've always done it twice. I did it in my dream, and then I'd sit down in my office and do it in my head as well. So I've already done that before I go to the gym. It's like mental rehearsal. It's already programmed into me. So I went to the gym with absolute goals. I knew which exercise I was doing, in which order, how much weight I put on the bar, how many reps I was trying to get. I would even have certain shirts that I would only wear on certain days, and certain pants I would wear on leg days. All little rituals and things like this, that all my energy was going into that. So you get what you focus on. And if you focus on, well, I'm broke and my girl just left me and I'm shit, you're gonna keep getting more of that. Right. So you've got to be very careful what you're thinking and what you're focusing on. When I was in bodybuilding, I was so immersed in it, like a tunnel vision, that I literally did nothing else. I thought about nothing else. It was all I was thinking about. It was the most important thing I was thinking about and focusing on, and literally, or to the point of obsession, I suppose. But you've got to be in order to do something really unusual. Yeah. That takes unusual focus.
Get nasty. Hold into the rear, squeeze them. Come on, Diesel! Let's see it! Straight in! Good. Yes. Oh, that's nice. This is good, man, come on! Keep pulling! Do it again!